Yeah.
You want to like him, but you can't.
Are you listening?
What?
Are you listening?
Did you bring me on this show to insult me?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all don't want it with us, man. We straight gangsters over here,
Straight
man.
gangsters. Yeah, good morning and welcome back. You are listening to Scout Team Sports. We're bringing it to you hot and live like we do each and every weekday. I am one of your gracious hosts. They call me Loudbeard.
You are the most egotistical, self-deluded person I have ever met.
And all of that is true. And the man on the other microphone, he is one of the greatest patriots I have ever met in my entire life. He's so patriotic, he bleeds red, white, and blue.
America.
Yeah, it's your boy Chris America coming to you live this Wednesday morning. It is a hump day this Wednesday morning, Loudbeard, and I'm excited to do another Scout Team radio episode. Loudbeard, I tweeted out yesterday from the main account that we are closing in on 6,500 downloads on our podcast episodes, which is basically this show and all of our previous, before we went live, before we entered your interweb mainstream airways. We're just rising, growing, and we thank all of our fans for the support, Loudbeard.
Yes, we do. We're kind of a big deal nowadays. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Kind of a big deal.
Kind of a little bit of a big deal. Kind of?
Yes.
A little bit?
It's only
of a big
because
deal.
I'm around, but, you know.
That's true. It's only because of your heavy breathing into the mic.
Whoa. Is that the Golden Ghost? Heavy breathing Golden Ghost?
It is the
Golden Ghost, I have one question for you. Why are you here?
Hey, I'm just here so I won't get fined.
I'm only here so I don't get fined. Happy Wednesday, guys. I mean, it's always a good Wednesday because they get to hear us twice today. So I'm excited. Scout Team after dark, Scout Team in the morning.
It's basically
start
like
our
our
day.
own echo. We're just an echo.
Yeah, they
Scout
start their
Team
day
in
with
the
us and they end the night
morning.
with us. We're fine.
Scout Team in the evening. Scout Team in the summertime.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything about singing.
You did.
Yeah. No.
You said, hey, Chris America, sing into the mic like you always do, like a weirdo.
Nice.
Hey, let's talk Kareem Hunt right off the bat. Let's go.
No. We're you know,
I brought it up towards the end of the show thinking, okay, at least there's going to be a limit. Like, there's
Yeah.
only so much Kareem Hunt talk we can do.
There
and you
is
guys,
a limit,
you
and we
took
took
it to the limits.
limit.
You did. You took it to
you
the
know,
limits.
I still didn't listen to that interview. I still haven't listened to the interview. That's going to be on things to do today. Listen to that interview.
You know, it was on in the background. I was doing some stuff around the house because it was kind of like that pregame show talk that they had going on. I caught bits and pieces, but what do you think he's going to say after he gets caught doing something terrible, which could take millions and millions of dollars out of his pocket? What do you think he's going to say? It's going to be very PC. He's been prepped up by PR people. It's going to be, I'm sorry, it'll never happen again. This isn't like me. This was just a one situation. I'm really, this is important to me to make sure that I change my life and I never let this happen again. It's going to be the same old gobbledygoo that we hear from everybody that gets in trouble.
Well, if it's the same old gobbledygoo, we'll know. We'll sniff it out. We'll be like, like you say, he's been propped up. But if you're sincere and it's coming from the heart, we'll know that too. So I want to see it because I want to know the story. I also want to see it because I do want to see if he's sincere. I haven't discounted the guy off. This is America. We do give people second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth chances. Mm-hmm. So at least let me give the 23-year-old that's never been in trouble before a second chance.
I don't know that that's true, but go ahead.
Well, what has he done? I mean, has he been in trouble before?
Yeah, I mean, he was accused of assault earlier in the year, and then he got off on that because, there's always loopholes when it's an NFL athlete and money's getting flown around and people get paid off and they end up withdrawing charges. Yeah,
Okay.
but
What
he's never
else?
gotten in trouble before. I don't know. I'm
Okay,
telling
what
you,
else?
if you watch that video and you know that he's gotten other assault charges, do you think that's it? He's had a clean bill of health all the way through? I mean, haven't looked at his record. I don't know what else he's been accused of, but I'm just saying the evidence in front of me indicates that I'm sure this isn't the first time. And we can't just say it is the first time if we haven't researched it. So I'm saying, I don't know if I would say that.
Where there's smoke, there's fire. I get
Well,
it.
it's a video. We basically
saw a
burned
video.
ourselves by watching the flames come up in our face, and we're still saying, well, it wasn't that hot.
I've seen Ray Rice
Mm-hmm.
deadbolt punch somebody right in the face.
All right. I think we should probably curb this because I think we could all go down a rabbit hole, and
I'll say
today is
this.
not the day for that.
I'll say this.
I'm going to watch the interview.
I think we can all agree on one thing. Hopefully, I'm pretty sure we'll all agree on this. The NFL, once again, is caught trying to cover up something, and then when it finally comes out into the public eye, then they want to be like, oh, no, this is the first time we've seen this. Okay, time for him to go.
Yeah, the NFL has a duty that they're not upholding for the last forever. I mean, they've always looked the other way, except if you kneel. If you kneel,
Right.
you're
then
out.
we
You're
then we
done.
can't stand for that.
You're
But
completely finished. Yeah.
if TMZ is the one always getting these videos, NFL, and you can't obtain these videos like you're claiming you can't, even though Cleveland Police Department has those videos, and usually when the police department has something, it's public record. In that case, I believe Cleveland closed that case a long time ago, so it's not like they're withholding it to help out their investigation when their investigation's closed. But if you're still having trouble getting a hold of videos and TMZ can get them, why not employ TMZ to help you with your investigations? If they're
Well,
better
you
at
said-
if they're better at their job than you are.
You said Cleveland? This happened in Cleveland?
I believe so. I'm like 99% sure that this was
Cal?
a Cleveland case.
Loudbeard?
Why
This
are you
happened-
asking me if it happened in Cleveland? I have no idea. I haven't done the research. I told you I
Because
can't
if it
say that
happened in
he's a
Cleveland,
clean
it changes
guy.
the whole story, man. Cleveland's a backward city anyway. I'm just saying. I'm just
No,
throwing
the
it out
location changes nothing about what we saw in the video. And once again, we're not going to debate
I know.
that today.
People
I'm trying to keep us
there. Lose
on
their mind in
course.
Cleveland. People
I'm
lose
trying
their
to keep
mind
us on
in
course to
Cleveland. That's
agree
all
that
I'm
the
saying.
NFL is messing up.
No. All I'm saying is people in Cleveland, people visit Cleveland, they do crazy things. That's all I'm saying. Urban Meyer quit. What happened to him over in Ohio? I'm just saying, it's right down the street, right? I'm
But it
just-
also
You're-
happened in
you know what?
Gainesville, the exact
Hold on.
same situation.
Loudbeard, he did it. He did it for me. Because Urban Meyer's a weirdo nut job of a coach, Kareem Hunt's innocent. Everything I saw in that
Wow.
video was
no,
not true.
No.
All
I'm not
he
saying
needs
he's
now
All
is
innocent.
because of
Kurt
Urban Meyer
Angle to do
retirement.
the
That's all I need to
standing
know.
leg
The fact that it
pull-up.
took place in
I'm
Cleveland.
not saying he's innocent. I'm saying Ohio is weird. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Ohio
They're
is for
throwing it out
lovers,
there.
man. Stop it. Ohio is for
Who
lovers.
told you that? Who told you that?
Everybody tells me that. I've never been, but everybody tells me that.
I
I've
mean,
never been.
this station is based out of Ohio. We love each other.
Well,
Jeff Beck, the
Hefe is a
Hefe,
different
he's
story.
the ladies' man.
It's a different
Like,
story. Whoa, don't we call him a ladies' man on the radio? He has
Why
a
not?
wife, right?
no.
You haven't been around, my
Oh.
friend. It's a long,
Oh, so
Too
Hefe
soon.
is the
Too
ladies'
soon.
man.
He is
You're
the
too,
ladies'
it's
man.
too soon.
I'm just trying to say, don't blow up the man's spot while we're on the radio live. You know, that's all I'm saying.
Oh,
Cleveland's
boy.
a small, Ohio's
Oh,
a
boy.
small place. Okay, all I'm saying. Everybody knows everybody.
Yeah, he's
Isn't
outside
it
of
like one of the
Cleveland. He's
fifth
in the
largest states?
suburbs. I made the mistake of telling him he was in Cleveland once, and he's like, whoa,
He's like,
whoa,
no,
whoa,
whoa. I'm in the burbs,
Whoa.
yo.
I'm in the burbs.
And did he say yo when he said it?
Sure.
And then he said, word to your mother.
Ooh,
That's all he said. So you
Dollar, dollar
transitioned
bills,
that
y'all.
perfectly. That was a segue over to Urban Meyer straight from Kareem Hunt. I don't
Yes.
even know if I don't know if anybody could have come up with a better segue than that. Thank you, Golden Ghost,
it
for
is what it is.
hitting that one out of the park. But Urban Meyer, he does exactly what everybody thinks he would eventually do, and that would be crack up, go crazy, and just say, that's it, I'm done, I'm retiring. He did the same thing in Florida, didn't he, Chris America? Wasn't this very similar to what happened in the Gainesville breakup that he had a few years back?
This is exactly what happened. The only difference is he didn't lose the conference championship game. But yeah, this has all the feelings. I wanted to text the Hefe, our Ohio State fan on the station, what he was thinking about, if I could offer any support, because I've been through this situation before. You know, it's kind of like when I don't know, you probably don't remember this, Golden Ghost, because it's probably been a really long time since you've had an ex-girlfriend, but it's kind of like when you've dated a girl or you've been married before, and then you see them, and you're kind of in like closed circles with them still, and you see them date somebody else, and then that person gets their heart broken, and you're kind of like, you have that, hey, like, I know what you're going through, bro. I dated her too. Yeah, I get. Yep, that's exactly what she did when I was dating her. Mm-hmm. Yep, been
and
there,
I know
done
your state
that.
of mind. Yeah, and I know your state of mind coming from that situation, because it's difficult, man. I mean, you had his back, like you kept defending him over and over and over through the years. You were like,
and
he's a good guy, this, that, and the other. And then all of a sudden it comes out, and it's, maybe he isn't such a good guy. So I see where it hurts.
Normally I take a dig. This is not a dig. Don't take this as a dig. But you went through this last season. What you just said, I remember you spending the whole month of November defending Jimbo Fisher.
I defended Jimbo.
And
I
then
defended Jimbo for months.
And then he
about
upped
2
and
months.
left you. You know the feeling.
It's a little different for me though. I defended him for months. You defended him for years. Like you were still like, oh, Urban Meyer's cool, this, that, and the other. Even after the Florida stuff came out, you were still like, oh no, he's still, it was all right. And
yeah,
now it's just like, no, he's not a good guy.
He's just a bad guy. Like you said with the Kareem Hunt, when there's smoke, there's fire. There's tons and tons of smoke when it comes to Urban Meyer.
Yeah, but the problem is with college football fans, when you get a coach that wins you a national championship,
yep,
things are hard to. It's hard to really overlook some of. I mean, you sit there and you say, okay, he's a great coach. He's won a national championship. Some of that other stuff, I'm going to take it, and I'm going to take it for what it is, but we'll pretend like it's not there. Let's pretend like it's not there. And then when it blows up in your face, you're like, yeah, that Urban. Yeah, we knew that was going to happen. But, hey, thank you for that national championship. Ohio State and Florida both are happy with what they got out of Urban Meyer. On the field, great coach. I mean, one of the best we've seen on the field. Probably right behind Nick Saban with coaches that are active right now as far as the best we've got out there. So, I mean, we like watching what he puts on the field, but all this other noise around him, and then he's always got stuff. I mean, the pressure creates this nervous breakdown, and you can kind of slowly see it coming. His actions on the field when he's coaching, you can tell the guy's just ready to just lose it. So he needs a break, man. We need to get this guy on a beach, or at least take a year off, and he could be coaching for Florida State in a year when that position comes open. Something like that. Give that guy a break.
Hey, don't put that on me. I will say sorry to Urban, though. I'm going to say sorry. I was wrong. I thought why he left Florida and why he kept, going through these schools real fast was because of intern students. I'm just saying that's my fault. I was wrong. It turns out it's much worse than it. Yeah, I thought he was, getting intern students knocked up or something. You know?
Oh, no. You're thinking of Bobby Petrino.
You're definitely Bobby Petrino.
I get that.
Urban Meyer's
I thought Urban was doing the same thing.
No, Urban Meyer's never once been accused of infidelity.
I know, and I thought that maybe he was just that smooth that they didn't materialize in any evidence, but yeah. It was worse. He lost control of the locker room. Now, do you think he lost control of that Ohio State locker room like he did at Florida? Or we won't know for years?
Nowhere near to the extent. Now, this is, again, just pure speculation. A lot of times, coaches learn from their previous mistakes. Sometimes that's on the field, previous coaching mistakes. Sometimes that's recruiting coaching mistakes. And other times it's covering stuff up, coaching mistakes. Like, oh, man, I need to get way better at covering this up.
Maybe you paid him more this time.
What's that?
Maybe
You paid them all. Paid them more.
You paid them more. Yeah.
Also, I
Pay
know
them
a
all
lot
off.
of people. A lot of people like to think that there's this cover-up stuff going on in Gainesville, but it's very well known that Gainesville PD does not like the football team. They hate the football team, so they're very quick to arrest there. Whereas, from my understanding, up in Columbus, I could be wrong. Beck, you can correct me. Is it's a very tight-knit community? Like Ohio State is the premier program there, and everybody else just says, "Hey, you look the other way. You don't do anything
Chris?
to mess this up." Yeah.
Chris, that's a false statement. You know it.
No.
You
What's a
know
false
they have
statement?
people that can fit situations. I mean, your boy went on an interview a couple of years ago and told everybody that he was a fixer and that he was fixing UF problems.
Yes, there is a
Everybody
lawyer who
has it.
goes around and fixes UF problems, but that doesn't stop the police from making arrest after arrest after arrest.
But he said,
And once
how-
you're arrested, you're public record, like we've mentioned before, and now that's when it becomes a problem. See, Urban Meyer didn't have a conviction problem at Florida. He had an arrest problem at Florida. Like 90% of those arrests, yes, the lawyer that fixes problems and the state attorney that is in that area is known for kind of making things go away. I'm not denying that. But GPD, Gainesville PD, is known for not liking. They hate how arrogant Florida football players are. They hate how they think they're above the law, and they hate that when they arrest these guys, that state attorney and lawyer makes it go away.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
believe I believe everybody has that one guy in the city that fixes stuff, that erases things from the records. That's all I'm saying. Every school has it. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, but once
These
it hits
big
the
schools,
newspaper-
they all have it.
once it hits the newspaper, it's done. Once it hits the internet, you're done. It's
And
there
everything
forever.
is internet
Nowadays,
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 everything
yeah, nowadays. It's,
Back in
it's easy to find. It's a Google
1982,
search.
things were different, but
but
now
we're talking
no,
about
back
2000
10 years ago, it was
2005
different.
to
10 years-
2010.
Think about this. Think about this, guys. The evolution of the cell phone has evolved so much in the last 10 years. Like, the internet has
Skynet
done the
hears
same
you.
thing.
Skynet,
Dude, they've been watching
don't
me for
disrupt
years.
Skynet.
It's okay. I'm just saying, everybody has them. The internet is
Well,
prevalent
then maybe
today,
that's what Urban
but
Meyer
10 years
learned
ago,
because if he had a guy that make things go away, his guy at Florida was terrible.
well, no, he just started singing. He was really good. at
No,
the
I
point
mean
in
every
time.
single it would be like a Gator player got arrested in that literally 3:00 in the morning. OrlandoSentinel.com is dropping a story about how a Gator player got arrested 3 hours ago.
Not
That sounds like-
10 years ago. Not against Urban.
Yes.
No.
Oh, okay, I'm not the Gator
no.
fan who
The-
follows
the-
my football team religiously and
the
knows
only-
and woke up every
because-
morning thinking like, oh man, another
Chris,
Gator player arrested. Are you serious? This is number 28.
Chris, wake up.
Okay.
10 years ago when Urban was there, Urban walked on water. He was God
Yes.
up here.
Okay.
Even in the whole state of Florida, he was God. Don't pull that cops told on him. Dude, the guy got away with a lot of stuff. The only time it came out was only after he left, and years after he left. It wasn't like, oh, he's leaving and then all of a sudden it came out. It took years for those stories to come out. So his guy, minus the internet presence, was awesome back then. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, man. Relax. It's okay. He's not there no more. We know what he did. We know who he is now. I'm pretty sure every coach has those horror stories. Every single one of them. I'm just saying. He doesn't want to respond.
No, I'm looking for the news article that was released by Orlando Sentinel in either 2007 or 2008 about how there was 33 arrests in a certain amount of time. And then ESPN ran with a story because, again, I followed the Florida Gators football far more religiously than you did.
I hear you, but I think that article came out years after he was gone.
It was during, because I remember getting in arguments about Florida Gators' arrest record.
So, let's talk about something else. What do you guys want to talk about? So, Urban retires, right? So, legacy
Urban
of
retires
Urban,
again.
we can talk about
Again.
forever. Let's see. Well, a lot of coaches are seem like they're getting fired or moving on. In the college football realm, we're starting to see all these coaching positions getting filled up. Louisville, they named their head coach, Scott Satterfield, who is the head coach from App State, takes over as the new Louisville coach. Maryland hires Alabama offensive coordinator Mike Locksley, which I was kind of surprised. I thought Matt Canada was going to take over and be the head coach moving forward. I thought Matt Canada did an amazing job. I don't know why they just didn't keep him as the head coach, but maybe Mike Locksley is going to come in and bring that Alabama magic over to the University of Maryland. And Cliff Kingsbury, who was a hot coaching candidate when he went to Texas Tech, great offensive mind. He is going over to USC as the offensive coordinator. So we're seeing that coaching carousel. And Urban retires. They already have his replacement in mind. This has been going on for weeks. So Ryan Day is going to take over, and he's got like a 5-year contract already. I don't feel good about the man that's got to step in after Urban Meyer. Chris America, how'd that work out for the state of Florida Gator football after Urban Meyer left?
Well, this is a completely different situation. I wish Florida would have done what Ohio State did, which was hire a Urban Meyer assistant named Dan Mullen. But they didn't do that. They went to the Nick Saban coaching tree and hired Will Muschamp instead. And that's where I think the biggest downfall for Florida was. I'm not saying that will work out for Ohio State, but this will definitely help them out. We saw Oklahoma do the same thing when Bob Stoops stepped down. They just threw in Lincoln Riley, and he led them to a college football playoff 2 years in a row. I'm thinking Ryan Day is a lot closer to that. We'll see. I want to see what he's like with the training wheels off, because everybody talks about how great of a job he did those 3 games when Meyer was gone, but he also had the training wheels of Urban Meyer being at the practices, being in the team meetings, doing film study, putting together a game plan, and then basically said, here, follow this.
They also had a soft schedule, and then when they played TCU, that was supposed to be the big challenge, and we found out later on that TCU was really having an off year. So he wasn't super challenged then, and like you said, he had that support from Urban. It was still Urban's coaching, his playbook. It was still everything Urban, and Ryan Day is going to have all of that still without Urban in the facility. So I'm with you. I mean, I think it was kind of a hasty decision, but it sounds like this is maybe something that's been going on in the background for a while. I do think there's going to be a drop-off. There's going to be a drop-off. Nobody's as good as Urban Meyer. I don't care if you're in that same tree. It's going to be a drop-off. There's got to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
It might not come right away, though, because there's still a lot of that talent on there, and talent can carry a coach. If you're a decent coach and you have elite talent, you can be carried.
That's a good point.
So don't expect it to be next year. I don't know where Haskins is at. I mean, maybe if Haskins leaves, that could also be a big thing as well.
Yeah, is this an early prediction that Jim Harbaugh may finally beat the Ohio State Buckeyes? Is that what you're trying to say, Chris America?
I do think that's a good possibility,
Wow.
yes.
Yeah. Harbaugh might get one up on him next season. He just maybe. I don't expect other teams to fall off. Like, I hope Penn State comes roaring back and give them a fight for the conference. But at the same time, it's Harbaugh's to lose right now, right?
Penn State's going to be competitive. You're right. Penn State's going to be competitive. So. Michigan's going to be competitive. Ohio State does not have a cakewalk opportunity here with Ryan Day just jumping in. They're still going to have these tough opponents. Penn State shows up and plays Ohio State hard no matter what. And Urban was good at game planning that and barely squeaked out a win this past season against Penn State. And I don't know if you have that same, I guess, gusto like Urban had. You know, he knew how to win the big games because he's been there. He's done that. You know, you're going to miss a little bit of that. And I don't want to just say that Ryan Day's not going to be the man. He could come out and wow us, and good for him, and keep that program going. But I just think when you step in the shadows of a legendary coach like Urban Meyer, who kind of turned this program around, Ohio State was down. They were down, and Urban comes in, and he kind of brings them back to relevance. And when he came, he brings them the national championship, and they become this big deal program. I just think that they're going to take a slight step back. And like Chris America said, it may not be for 2 years or 3 years once some of the Urban Meyer magic wears off. But I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this.
Yeah. Now, we know he has an MO. He retires. He goes to another team. Could he retire and go to the NFL now? The NFL has a lot of vacancies that I'm pretty sure people are trying to knock down his door to get him on.
Well,
now, I'm just saying, did he retire and just go away, or did he retire and want to go somewhere else?
Oh, no, this is not the last we've seen of Urban Meyer. We did release a poll. If when Urban Meyer comes back to coaching, where do you think he ends up? 27% believe it's an NFL team. We had options of Notre Dame, USC, other college, and NFL team. And 27% was NFL. USC was the first place team with 32%, and Notre Dame second with 22%.
The Cleveland Browns position's still open.
That
I
is
want to
have
say
to move very
USC
far.
though. I want to say USC's beneath them a little bit there, right?
No.
Yeah, but they're
USC's
ride
one
or
of the
die with
top.
Helton.
USC's probably one of the top 5 echelon historic programs, right up there with Alabama, Ohio State, and Notre Dame.
Yeah, right now they're not putting it on the field, but the brand is still there. The brand is
they
always going
have
to be there.
I think they have either the most or one of the most Heisman Trophy winners, and they have the top 3 or 4 most national championships ever won. So,
Do they have the money that they require for him to pay players off, though?
they
saying.
paid an entire house and car for Reggie Bush. What do you think? It's an
Okay.
L.A. private school. What do you think?
Yeah, they
There's
got
tons
the
and
money. They
tons
got
of
the
Hollywood
juice.
money. I mean, every single Hollywood celebrity that moves to L.A., they do 2 things. They become Laker fans and they become USC fans.
All right, they got the juice. They got the juice.
They
Bring
got
it.
the juice. They had the juice, OJ, and then he went to Buffalo, and we know the rest of the story from there.
Bro, don't bring up OJ in this situation.
You're the one that brought up the juice.
I wasn't
The juice
mentioning
in
that
USC.
context. I wasn't
juice in
mentioning that
USC.
context, man. Hey, OJ listens to us, man. So you better watch what you say, okay?
OJ, holler at me, bro. I got some memorabilia of yours. I need to get back to you.
Oh, you're so dirty, man. So he didn't do it, man.
You
I
guys
saw
are
him
wrong,
steal.
man. Hey, you know a West
He
Coast
is
coach,
wrong.
a West Coast coach in the college football that I love, Mike Leach, man. I cannot get enough of this guy. Did you
Really?
guys get the opportunity to listen to his interview completely just blowing up the college football playoff?
No, you
I've
got
heard a couple
another
of them. Is there a new one?
Yeah.
No, it's just the one from, I think it came out yesterday.
Okay, so that's a new one. I
Maybe
haven't
the
heard
day
that one.
before.
No,
You
I
haven't heard that one?
No, I haven't heard
Well,
one in
good.
a couple weeks.
Good news. This is it's about 2 minutes. So if you guys want to go take a quick break, you can, because I'm going to be sitting here listening in because I like this guy.
Play it.
I'm trying to. Just got to get
give
my.
a really befuddled, mixed up look, and they get a really screwy expression on their face. Like, well, how can that possibly be? I mean, how can we do that? I mean, how is it possible that you could actually have a playoff format in college football? Well, gee, I don't know. Let's start with, we can go down to the local city park, and I'll bet you somebody that handles youth football could tell you how to do something like that. Well, that's too low of a scale. Let's move it up a little bit. Okay, how about high school from a major state? Let's say Texas, Florida, or California. Let's see how they do it. Okay, let's see. These guys, they win a certain number of games. They have a qualification. Okay, now, boom, they're in the playoffs. But they don't have just 2 or 4 teams or something. Hell no, because they want everybody to have fun and enjoy this playoff system. So they have 16 or 32 or 64 or something like that. Okay, so then they play each other, and everybody's on the edge of their seat going to wait and see if this team's going to beat that team or going to beat the other team. And so then, in the end, there's occasionally a debate. If only this team hadn't lost to that team in this round, then this team could have won the whole thing, and that's perhaps true. But the thing that is indisputable is that at the end of the gauntlet, this team came out on number 1, and there's no debate whatsoever who's state champion. Then you can go to Division 3, Let's see, how do they do it? Oh, they do it the exact same way. Okay, now the suspense is really starting to get thick because, Division II might do it differently. No, in fact, they don't. They do it exactly.
I love it.
Boys and girls, like Division III does.
I love
and
it.
then now they've changed the initials because in this era of political correctness, they love to change initials and make it proper to say things one way instead of another. And I forget what the initials is. But then they go to 1AA. Okay, at 1AA. How do they do it in 1AA? 1AA. I mean, because that's getting closer to us, and we're really sophisticated because we're major 1A. How do they do?
That cuts it off there. This was just a 2-minute video. It actually goes on for 10 minutes of him just
I could
rambling
listen
on.
to all 10 minutes of it.
Man.
Honestly, we could just let's just like at 6:45. Let's just play the full 10. Nobody wants to hear us gas around for 10 minutes. I'd rather hear him.
I want to hear Mike Leach.
I mean,
Oh, that was awesome.
he is a
That was
Power
awesome.
5 coach, and he's just sitting there basically saying what everybody on the whole planet thinks, and that's like, why can't we figure this out? Why can't we change this? Because this is a dumb system. It's a complete and utter joke. And he's out there on press conferences saying, like, I mean, we have the answers. Every other football league that you can think of, from Pee-wee to anywhere, college football, high school football, everywhere, has some sort of championship based on a tournament that gets you there, and there's no argument over who wins because the winner wins it on the field, not in a conference room. And you hear it from a Power 5 football coach, somebody with some great opinions. I love every second of it.
And
The 2 minutes was awesome.
there is quite a reason why Mike Leach, a guy who's always been in a Power 5 conference, feels that way. And I'll tell you after this break.
Did you know 40 points on your credit score could cost you $40,000 on a mortgage? Thankfully, Lexington Law is here to help. Since 1991, Lexington Law has helped over 500,000 customers take action on their credit reports. Call 877-910-7472 to talk to a repair specialist now. Personalized credit consultation is free. Getting access to your report is free. Plus free score evaluation with a recommended solution. Call now and get on the path to recovery. Call Lexington Law at 877-910-7472. That's 877-910-7472.
Oh, it's summertime. And what's that mean? We're all heading off to the golf course. But don't go too fast. Make sure you go to 12ouncesportsradio.com and book a tee time. At the bottom of any page, you'll see Book Like a Pro. Click that banner, enter your course of choice or zip code, find a tee time you like, book that tee time, and you'll get up to 50% off, courtesy of 12-Ounce Sports Radio. Book like a pro, even if you don't play like one.
Ring Central features all-in-one phone, messaging, and video conferencing. It's easy to use with unparalleled security. Ring Central simplifies things so you can grow. Call Ring Central to speak with a representative about a price for your growing business at 877-779-3860. Again, that's 877-779-3860.
Welcome back on this beautiful Wednesday morning. You are listening to Scout Team Sports. He's Chris America. That other guy, he's the Golden Ghost. I am Loudbeard, bringing it to you hot each and every weekday, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. and replay on at 11 a.m. on 12-Ounce Sports Radio. If you aren't able to catch the live show, or if you want to go back and listen to all the greatness of Scout Team Sports, make sure you check out our podcast. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, or our website, scoutteamradio.com. Also, while we do our live show at 6 a.m. from 6 to 7, we like to get social with our listeners. Make sure you hit us up on Twitter at Scout Team Radio. If you tweet at us, if you send us your opinion, there is a very good chance we may read your tweet on the air. We may discuss your sports topic. We love to get interactive with all of our listeners and our fans. So hit us up at Scout Team Radio. So, gentlemen, Mike Leach is my early hashtag Oprah Solid front runner because I love that man. I absolutely love that man. Keep it going, Mike Leach. Keep it going.
Yeah, more people should be vocal about this. I mean, I know it's a lot of upset people, and I don't know, maybe some of them are just going with the system, but I feel like more people should be more vocal about their teams not even having a shot. You know what I'm saying? So, no, Mike Leach, lead the way, my friend. I'll follow.
Burn it down, man. Mike Leach is helping us burn it
Hashtag
down.
Burn it down.
Now,
Yes,
one
he
of the
is.
reasons why Michael Leach feels this way as opposed to, say, I don't know, Nick Saban or Ed Orgeron and all those other guys is because he's always been at a Power 5 school, but it's been a Power 5 schools that probably don't have an equal shot at getting to the national championship or the college football playoff like the elite Power 5 schools. He's been at Kentucky as an offensive coordinator, Texas Tech as a head coach, and now Washington State. All three of those brands are not the top tier. Some of them are probably bottom tier. I would say Washington State's a bottom tier Pac-12 team, usually, especially when Mike Leach is not around to make them good. And we saw Washington State have one loss earlier this year, and they could barely climb up the rankings, while LSU had a loss, and it was like, we'll just put them at 4, just because.
Yeah, they didn't move that much after that loss, did they?
No. So there's a little bit of that. I do think maybe if he coached at Alabama or Ohio State, maybe Mike Leach would, because Mike Leach is a wild card. He's a man that beats to his own drum and everything else, but I do think that he also recognizes the fact that even within the Power 5, he's still getting the scraps.
Yeah, he really
That's
is.
fair.
And he knows that we have this conversation, a group of 5 gets left out, they don't have a chance, and then Power 5 gets everything. And it's really not the Power 5, it's the top half of the Power 5. It's the top half
almost like the
of
top
the
quarter.
SEC. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It's like the haves and the have-nots, and the haves are maybe 20 teams, and the have-nots are everybody else. And what is there, 130 teams? And you look at that and you're thinking, out of 130 teams, realistically, maybe 30 have a chance to get into the national championship playoff, whatever they call it nowadays. So if there's only 20 to 30 teams that even have a chance, a guy like Mike Leach, who Washington State, if they would have finished the year with one loss, would not have been in that conversation because Oklahoma would have got it or Ohio State would have got it over them. 100%. So a one-loss Washington State, and maybe, and this is speculation, you guys could say I'm dead wrong, but maybe an undefeated Washington State would still be in that, like, well, Georgia has 2 losses, but one of them was to Alabama, and it was really a close match, close game. So I don't know, an undefeated Washington State or a 2-loss Georgia, I could see Kirk Herbstreit saying, well, Georgia's the better team. Put them in. You would still have that conversation. So they're in that same boat as, we've talked a lot about UCF, but when you don't even consider UCF, when you consider a team like Kentucky, Washington State, if Vanderbilt made a magical run, these teams aren't going to get the same love and respect that an LSU or an Ohio State or an Oklahoma get because, again, we talk about these blue blood programs, but it's a good old boy network, and that's all it is right now, and we're just, as we continue to live with this playoff system that we have, all we're doing is adding to that good old boy network and saying, well, we decided to add, instead of just doing the championship game, we're doing a playoff now to make it fair. So now we can add in 2 extra good old boys to the whole conversation instead of what we normally get. So this is it's becoming a major problem. Mike Leach has brought it forth. We're doing our hashtag CFP blackout on Twitter. Please make sure.
It's blowing up.
It is. We're actually getting a lot of traction on it. We're going to keep that going from now until the playoff. Let's see if we can get some more traction. Why not? Because we're not the only one. If we could get a Mike Leach, I don't even know if he has a Twitter account, if he could retweet one of our CFP blackout, I mean, that would be huge. I know there are people out there that feel the same way we do. Don't watch this game because all you're going to do is consume a product that is terrible because they need to fix the system, blow it up, burn it down, whatever we've got to do, we've got to get it done, and we've got to get it done quick. But I digress. I'm getting on my soapbox, gentlemen, and I apologize for that. I'll get off my soapbox. I'll let one of you guys take it over. I don't know where else we want to go
Mike
from here,
Leach
but
has a Twitter account.
He does?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Why haven't we figured that out before?
I don't know. Hey, okay, so we're talking about coaches. Coaching right now is hot because you got McCarthy gets fired. In the NBA, you got guys getting fired. The Chicago Bulls coach, Fred Hoiberg, gets fired. So I pose a question for you. This has been kind of the talking head sports debate the last couple days, so I hate to be kind of trite and do this, but in the NFL, we're going to see some more coaches lose their jobs as we move forward here. The Browns lost their coach. The Packers lose their coach. What other teams can you see losing coaches by the end of the year? I know Marvin Lewis is always a hot candidate to be on this. I won't call it the hot seat. I don't know a better name for it, but he's trying to be a coach that gets in that conversation of should be fired every year. Todd Bowles, John Harbaugh, Ron Rivera, any of these guys you think might have a possibility of not having a job by the end of the year?
I'd throw in Dirk Cutter and Adam Gase over there at Tampa and Miami.
Oh, Adam Gase. Yeah, I think Gase has got to be gone.
I would have thought Jason Garrett a couple of weeks ago, but they're on a winning streak. So
man, that's a great point.
I
was ready to fire Jason Garrett week 5 or whatever, and
I think everybody but Jerry Jones. I think everybody but Jerry Jones was. For some reason, Jerry Jones loves the guy. And now I feel like this solidified his sentiment towards him.
See, he went to Jerry and he said, Jerry, I promise you all I have to do is just get one receiver and I can start winning. That's all I'm missing is one receiver. He's like, all right, let's get Amari Cooper. Is that going to work? Okay. He's like, well, you better win 3 in a row. Oh, yeah, I'll win 3 in a row. He's like, you can keep your job if you win 3 or 4 in a row. No problem, Jerry. Mr. Jones, I got you, Mr. Jones. And boom, all of a sudden he starts winning. Jerry Jones is a freaking genius, man. Freaking genius.
I don't know how Jason Garrett still has a job after all these years, but it is what it is. It is what it is, man.
Yeah, the only time he's been really bad is when Romo would go out hurt, and then he'd say, "Well, my quarterback got injured week 2. That's why we only won 3 games this season."
He was bad last year.
Give me another shot.
He was pretty bad last year. The season before was that amazing season where they were going to go to the Super Bowl and everything, but lost in the second round to the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah. But he's always that 8-8 guy where he's good enough to not lose his job. And the only time he was really, really bad is when there was a quarterback injury. Every other time he's the typical 8-8 coach that just is good enough to be in that conversation of maybe he could make the playoffs, but they lose the last game of the year and don't make it in. Except for that one magical run where the Packers stomped them. That was when the Packers used to be good. I don't know what happened to them either.
What about Urban Meyer to the Packers?
You know what, man? So when we were talking about that popped in my head, and I was like, nah, we're good. And don't get me wrong, I'm still not an Urban Meyer fan. If he went to Green Bay, I don't know how it would feel. But he would be more suited for an NFL team. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe, because Urban Meyer's really not an X and O guy. He's a game manager guy. He's the guy that is great at identifying talent, getting talent to come to him, identifying coaching talent, getting that coaching talent to come to him. He's only as good as his players and his coordinators are. So I think if he put together a really good staff in the NFL and he stayed out of the way and just focused on managing game time decisions, like do we go forward on 4th and 2? Do we call a fake punt here? Do we do this? Do we do that? That kind of stuff. But as far as like, hey, do we run this certain type of play? He doesn't know. Just he leaves it up to his coordinators to do that.
So there was another coach that left a school all discombobulated and went to the NFL and was very successful. And I hate him. I still
Pete Carroll?
That's true.
I still don't like Pete Carroll, but
He won a
I'm
Super
just
Bowl
thinking, this
and
is
a
kinda the
national
same
championship.
I know
The only difference is Pete Carroll had NFL experience beforehand.
That's true. That is absolutely true. But it wasn't great NFL experience.
No, it
before.
wasn't. It really
It
wasn't.
wasn't great.
And I still thought it was funny that when they played the Patriots in the Super Bowl, he still wanted to be like, "Oh, I bet you they regret firing me now." No, they do not.
No, bro, you were horrible.
They've been fine without you. Trust me.
Yeah, bro, you were horrible. But I mean, Pete Carroll made the transition, and I want to say that he was kind of the same coach as Urban Meyer, like maybe not big on the X's and O's, but a great game manager, great at recruiting talent, and they're very similar, like very similar. So I would have mixed emotions if he was my coach at Green Bay. I really would. I wouldn't know. I really wouldn't know how to take that. I haven't had time to digest it.
Urban Meyer's more suited for the Cincinnati Bengals or the Dallas Cowboys than he is Green Bay, Wisconsin.
I don't know. Think about it. He'll have Aaron Rodgers.
I'm just saying, I just listed two teams that are known for taking in troubled guys with, arrest records, where Green Bay is a pretty clean, cut and dry, buttoned up type organization.
I hear you, but remember, I asked for a coach that would be more innovative. And God dang it, man. That's tough. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. That's a tough call, man.
I think what the Golden Ghost is saying is, I'm very desperate, and if I'm considering Urban Meyer, I don't like where my head is at.
He's a winner. He'll be a winner for a couple years, and then he'll have an emotional breakdown and leave you at the altar. It'll be okay.
I don't know.
It's worth it in the short run.
I thought Pete Carroll would have jumped ship by now, and he's been there for what? He's been there for a minute now, right? He's been there for what? 8 years?
Yeah,
longer than that.
Pete Carroll didn't jump from job to job to job like Urban Meyer did. Pete Carroll was at USC for, I guess it was like 9 years. It felt like forever.
But he left when the ship got a little.
Oh yeah, I mean once the NCAA came calling, and then the Seattle Seahawks came calling, he's like, wait a minute,
bloop.
I can go back to actually paying players out in the open, and it's okay. Done.
Yeah. So I'm not sure, man. I'm conflicted on that. I can tell you from the moment I thought of it to right now, it has softened. At first, it was like, no, I do not want him at Green Bay. But now it's kind of like, man, I don't know. I've been asking for somebody innovative, somebody that can beat Pete Carroll. This guy might be the guy that can do it.
So to take it back to dating, Anthony's now that single guy who's watched two of his best buds date the same woman, see the same headaches. But he's been single so long, and so like the other girls, they're not as fine as this girl. And he's like,
man.
I know she did my boys wrong and everything, but maybe they were part of the problem too. Like maybe, it takes two to have a problem. Maybe they were part of the problem. I'm different. I'll treat her right. She'll treat me right. It'll be all good.
Oh God. This is bad, man. This is bad.
Yeah. Hey, give him a shot. Give him a shot. Why not? He could bring Kelvin Benjamin over since he's now available, and you could have a Florida State legend, Kelvin Benjamin, with Urban Meyer. It would be perfect.
He's
Match
going to
made in
Tampa,
heaven
by
for
the
you.
way.
Oh,
Kelvin
imagine if they
Benjamin's going to
signed Tim
Tampa.
Tebow.
Ooh.
Oh God, no.
Tebow.
Tebow.
Urban's the guy that could connect the dots right there. He's the one that could say, you know what? I know that you're an all-star baseball player, but we need to get you back to the
Probably
NFL.
a future Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Future Hall of Famer,
okay.
Tim Tebow. Yes, that's what we should do there.
Okay, that love affair is over now. We're done.
All right,
I don't want him at Green Bay.
Washington Redskins. This is your second favorite team, the Redskins. They signed Josh Johnson as a backup quarterback, and our good old boy
Oh,
Jay
wow.
Gruden comes out in a press conference and says, "We had some discussions about Colin Kaepernick, but we decided to go in a different direction."
But the NFL came and said, negative, he's suing
No,
us.
you can't
Don't
do
even
that.
try
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Don't pull that out, Green. Oh my God! Wow, bro, you guys are in the gutter, man.
Who?
I feel bad for you.
Well, I mean, when you have two quarterbacks go out with broken legs in the same season, and that was your
Yeah.
starter and your backup, and you did not have a third-string quarterback, yeah, things are not looking up. And I mean, like I said earlier or yesterday on our show, us having 6 wins, it's a blessing and a curse. Like, we could tank so bad right now, we could get an early draft pick, but we've already won enough games where we're still in the playoff hunt, surprisingly, at 6-6, but I don't think that we could win another game unless the Sanchez comes out and brings back that magic, like when he used to take his Jets to the AFC
Yeah.
Championship games.
And
That's what I need.
The other part is you're outside of the trade deadline, so you can't even trade for like
Yeah,
another quarterback.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
Tyrod.
Like you can't
or
go get
somebody.
Chase Daniels or somebody like that from Chicago.
Nope. Nobody. We first of all, I would not want Chase Daniels. How
He's
is that
doing
guy
better
still
than
in
Mark
the league?
Sanchez. He's
They
done all
lost
right
to-
filling in for the Bears.
I don't know. They're still losing. They lost to the Giants. Is that
That's
still
true.
doing good? Like when you have that good of a
Giants are
defense,
a weird team. Giants are a weird team.
they are. They're like the Eagles. Like they're both having awful years, but any given day they could come out and beat any team in the league.
Now we left the Eagles for dead, and they've I think they listened to our show. I think
They're crawling back,
Peterson.
man.
I think Doug
Kicking and
Peterson heard us say
scratching. They're
that
trying.
they're done, they're dead. He played our episode for the whole entire team, and they've been on a tear ever since we said that.
Yeah, I know. They are the Super Bowl champions, so I mean, you got to give them a little bit of credit. They have talent on their team. Wentz is slowly trying to get himself back in the fold, but he's been pretty
Yeah.
disappointing this
I
year.
mean, they're defending Super
overall.
Bowl champs. The only thing they're missing is the Super Bowl MVP on that team. That's the only piece that's missing. If only they had that guy.
If only.
Sure.
If only.
That's gonna help you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man, you guys. So we got 3 minutes left. I got a couple other topics here. I'm trying to think what would be the best one to finish the show with.
Rapid
so we talked
fire.
about-
Let's go. Let's go.
Light the fire?
I
that what
said,
you said?
rapid fire. Let's go.
Oh, rapid fire? Okay.
Come on, keep going.
So
Yeah, go,
we
go.
talked too much about football. I'm going to throw a little basketball in at you. So Fred Hoiberg gets fired
Lakers
from the
suck.
Bulls. What other coaches could you see being gone at the end of the year? And I'm going to give you 3 names here that are 3 probably surprising names, but I want to get your guys' take. Rapid fire. Luke Walton, do you think he will be the coach of the Lakers at the beginning of next year? Do you think he survives this season?
No.
Okay. Greg Popovich. This is another one. Now, I'm going to put it in a different way. The Spurs would never fire Greg Popovich. Do you think he's ready to retire? His big 3 are gone. The dynasty is over. It's going to be hard to get that team back to where it was. Do you think Greg Popovich considers retiring after this season?
Yes.
I think he considers retiring. I don't think he actually does. He's one of the coaches that actually loves what he does. It's just, I mean, you got so much firepower over there in the West Coast now. I mean, you got L.A., you got Golden State,
Yeah, the Lakers,
you got
the
Houston,
Clippers.
the Clippers. You got what was Sacramento? I mean,
Well,
they're
the top
making
2
some noise
teams
this
are the
season.
Clippers and the Nuggets in the West right now. Believe you me, that is weird. And the
That
Rockets
is
are sitting
very
at like
weird.
11th in the West and still suck. They can't win. So I don't know what's going on in the West. It's weird, but Greg Popovich could retire at the end of this year, and I would not blame him one bit. One other one for you.
Hold on. I got one little tidbit.
Go ahead.
He's going to retire, or at least he's got 2 more years at the most, I think. And the way I know that is because he does what every single old coach does. He complains about how the game is being played today. And a couple weeks ago or a week ago, he was complaining about how much the game has changed and how the 3-point shot is ruining basketball. And to me, when when a coach or a manager starts complaining about how the game is played, he's basically saying, this game has passed me. I don't know how to keep up with it, and I'm mad. So I
he's
want to
been
just
doing that
complain
for
about
years, though. He's been doing that for the last 3 or 4 years.
It's been coming off real hard, real strong. And in the last 3 or 4 years, he hasn't been able to put together a championship caliber team.
Yeah, absolutely. I hear you. All right, last subject.
Last
Let's go.
one. The Orlando Magic hand the Miami Heat a big loss last night. The Heat are now 9-14 and not looking like they are going in the right direction. Is it time for the Heat to move on from Eric Spoelstra?
We're not talking about the Heat. We're going to talk about the Orlando Magic, who won again. They are a dominant buzzsaw right now. The Orlando Magic are cruising their way to the playoffs. And with that, I'll lead you out with this, Loudbeard. Oh, man, stupid YouTube. Loading too slow.
What is that? Oh, God, no.
That's right, fellas. The Orlando Magic won again. Let's go out with a celebration.
They're 500.
Go Magic, go Magic, go.
They're seriously 500.
Gonna get you!
It's ridiculous.
Oh, I love that song, man.
7 games back.